Yeah, hi, let's talk about second charge lending, which we've come across before. We need to tidy up a few loose ends here. So what is second charge lending? Well, it's lending that's not first charge. Think about it, most lenders are quite happy to go for first charge lending. So if we look at this visually, because I'm going to show you quite a few things with this one. We've got our property here, and there's the amount of mortgage effectively. Now let's just say the property is worth, say, £400,000. Loads of equity there. Typical banks, building societies will be happy to lend on first charge. Now that means that they have the first dibs, if you like, on repossession of the property. And let's just say our lender wants to lend £100,000, just put some figures in there for you, which caps at this point roughly, and that's known as the first charge. And that's fine and dandy. Now, customers I should say, not always happy to go back to their first lender if they want to borrow some more money. They want to release some equity, they want to get some money out of the property. Maybe they can't get the money from the first lender, maybe the first lender stopped lending or they don't want to lend to them, maybe their income is not enough. So there's a whole market of second charge lenders who will be happy to lend on a second charge basis. They'll be happy to lend it, but they'll charge you higher interest rates and usually higher fees as well, usually broker fees involved here as well. But their criteria for lending is a whole lot more lenient. Although it's regulated by the FCA, this is a regulated mortgage contract, as you can appreciate it's a first charge. The FCA do oversee or govern second charge lenders, but they don't actually have regulated mortgage contracts. Slightly different there, isn't it? So what happens then if you want to borrow on a second charge? Well, let's just say you want to borrow, say, £50,000. In addition, you go to another lender who secures it on a second charge. And as you can see there, logically, the first lender has priority, the second lender has second priority. It's higher risk, that's the whole point behind it. Because if the property was repossessed, then the first lender gets their money back first, and the second lender gets their money back second. Beware that second lenders can repossess on their own. They don't obviously do it in comparison or in tandem with the first lender, but if you haven't paid your second charge loan, then they're quite happy to repossess you. In fact, a couple of years ago, 827 homes were repossessed by second charge lenders. They're usually a lot quicker to make it happen as well. Now that's fine and dandy if there's plenty of equity, but as equity begins to shrink, of course, it becomes more and more risky. So let's say then that this particular customer wanted to borrow some more money from his first lender. I don't know, maybe he wanted to build a garage or an extension or a loft extension or something like that. Now he goes to the lender who's quite happy to do a further advance. As you know, they're quite available easily enough. But the problem we've got here is that we've got a second charge, so it's effectively capped the amount that can be borrowed. So what happens is the lender arranges for a deed of postponement. You might have come across that phrase before. The deed of postponement, which effectively postpones the second charge. So let's remove the second charge temporarily. It postpones the second charge, allows the lender to borrow that little bit more. Say, for example, they want to borrow another 100,000, to build an extension. So suddenly the first charge effectively has increased, and you've postponed the second charge, which is still on the property. Let's put it back in there for you. There's your £50,000 second charge. But of course it's shunted up. It's known as tacking. You might have heard that phrase before. You're tacking it on. And this allows the first lender to increase their lending, but to secure the whole lending as a first charge. That's pretty much second charge lending. And that's what we need to be aware of for the examination. Hope you found that useful.